What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal, YouTube? Welcome and welcome back to the channel, gang. Welcome and welcome back to the channel. So, first and foremost, I'd like to say I hope all of y'all are vibrating at a high frequency, not letting no negative energy stop y'all positive energy. And as you can see by the title, right? As you see, I'm going to tell y'all how to identify who's doing witchcraft on you and your family. Not you and your family, but the person that's in your family that's doing witchcraft on you. Or how to identify the witch or witches in your family, right? So, what you have to understand, right? Nobody is ever going to tell you if they're doing witchcraft on you. They're not going to let you know, right? They're not going to tell you that shit. They can possibly show you signs that they're doing this shit, but they're not gonna tell you, right? And the only reason I say they may show you signs because if you do some shit to somebody and you're showing them that you're doing some shit to them, you're gonna avoid the karma, right? Because you're letting the person know this is what I'm doing to you. So you told them, right? They just didn't fucking listen. So they will never tell you when they're doing witchcraft on you, right? So you have to know that. Whoever it is that's doing witchcraft on you, they'll never tell you. Whatever witch that's in your life, that's not like, that's not fucking with you, they'll never tell you this shit, right? You have to know this, right? So, and let me explain to you what witchcraft is. Witchcraft is the manipulation of energy. When you're manipulating energy, right? And you have to also understand, anybody that's doing witchcraft on you, that shit's not gonna work if you're not giving them no energy. Because everything is energy. So if somebody's trying to do some witchcraft on you or some shit, and you're not giving them no energy, that shit's not gonna work, right? Because they need your energy in order for the shit to work, unless they're gonna just send some shit your way, right? So how to identify who's doing the witchcraft on you, right? You have to pay attention to who's entering and who's exiting your life when stuff is going good and when stuff is going wrong, right? You have to pay attention to that. And I'm in the middle of getting gang stalked. I got some people trying to, disrupt my peace and trying to disrupt this download. So I'm going to just move over here a little bit. It's part of the gang stalking shit. It's all spiritual. And we got these groups of people that are possibly being paid by the government, Masons, etc. But back to how to identify the witch in your family, right? So you have to understand, nobody will ever tell you that they're manipulating your energy, that they're doing witchcraft on you, right? So you got to look at who's keeping up the most confusion in your family, right? Who's keeping up the most confusion? Who's going right here and saying that such and such said this, and then they're going back over to such and such and saying that you said some shit, right? Because you got to understand, witchcraft is all energy. It's all the manipulation of energy. So who's trying to manipulate energy, right? And what will keep up a lot of energy? What will keep up a lot of energy, right? Pretty much what will keep up a lot of energy is a lot of confusion, miscommunications, etc. Right? That's gonna keep up a lot of energy. That's gonna stir up a lot of emotions, and the witchcraft is the manipulation of your energy and your emotions, right? You know what I'm saying? So you got to look and ask yourself, who's keeping up a lot of confusion in this family, in this household? Who's saying somebody did this and then going back to the next person saying, oh yeah, they did this, or they said this and that, just trying to start some shit, right? That's usually the person that's doing the witchcraft, because they got to keep up a lot of confusion. If shit's going peaceful in your family, everything's going smooth and shit, they're not gonna be able to do no witchcraft, because that's not gonna be no energy. You know what I'm saying? They got to keep up a bunch of confusion, So that's one way to find out who's doing witchcraft. Another way is to see, like, for instance, if stuff is going good in your life, and then you start communicating with a certain person, and then shit just start going wrong. You know what I'm saying? Shit just start going wrong. That person that you communicating with could be possibly doing witchcraft on you, right? And how they would do that witchcraft on you is they'll get your energy, right? They'll try to get your energy. And what I say by getting your energy is getting your emotions, getting you worked up, getting you riled up, right? That's how they're going to get a lot of energy from you to try to do some witchcraft when they try to manipulate you, right? So they may do something that they know is going to get under your skin to get you riled up. And when you get riled up, you're going to have a lot of, you're going to be in your emotions, etc., right? And then when you in your emotions, etc., they can try to manipulate your energy, and then shit will start going wrong in your life. You know what I'm saying? Because the witchcraft doesn't work if you're, one, if you're vibrating high, and two, if you're not giving no energy to the person, right? So they'll try to get that energy, trying to get a reaction, try to take you out your character, or try to make you vibrate low, And once that happens, then shit will start going wrong in your life, or pay attention to who enters your life when shit start going wrong, And I want to really break this down, but like I said, nigga getting gang stalked, and this shit don't stop. I should have just posted in the whip and did this shit. But yeah, you gotta pay attention to who's entering your life when shit's going wrong, or if everything is going right and you're doing the same routine, and then shit just start going wrong. After you start communicating with this person or a certain group of people, that's possibly who's doing witchcraft on you. You know what I'm saying? That's possibly who's doing this shit. And you have to pay attention to that shit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pay attention to that. Because if you don't pay attention to that, this shit can destroy you, right? This shit could destroy you. So I ain't gonna make this video it's only 7 minutes so far. And I really feel like I'm not even really going in on this shit like I want to be going in on this shit. But you gotta understand, who's ever doing witchcraft on you, they'll never tell you like, yeah, I'm manipulating your energy. Witchcraft is the manipulation of energy, right? If I tell you, like, yeah, wait for me at the door. I'm gonna be here at 10 o'clock p.m. on a dot. Just wait right there for me, right? And then come 10 o'clock p.m. on a dot, I'm not right there, right? And then you hit me with some, oh, why you ain't, you know what I'm saying? You said you're gonna be here at 10 o'clock p.m. on the dot. Why you ain't here at 10 o'clock p.m. on the dot? And then I hit you with some, oh, why you tripping, this and that, yada, yada, this and that. And that's me being a narcissist, one. And two, that's me trying to manipulate your energy, right? Trying to make it seem like you tripping, right? And more than likely, who's ever doing the witchcraft is the narcissist in your family too, right? Because the witchcraft it's gonna require your energy, right? And them lying about some shit, trying to make it seem like they don't know what they doing or they don't know what the fuck you talking about. And that's gonna bring out the narcissistic behavior. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna lead to the same person, all right? So it's just something to be aware of. If you got somebody in your family that's constantly trying to bring you out your character, or they're constantly doing some shit, and then once you get out your character and have that argument, etc., shit start going wrong in your life. You know what I'm saying? You start losing motion. You know what I'm saying? Etc. If you constantly going back and forth with this person and shit is just going wrong. You have to pay attention to that. You have to pay attention to who's in your life when shit is going good, when you got motion. You know what I'm saying? When opportunities are falling through. You know what I'm saying? You getting job offers, all this shit. Pay attention to who's around you when everything is going good. And if nobody's around you when everything is going good, you need to keep nobody around you until you get to your final destination. Don't get halfway to your destination and start including people in your life, and then shit start going wrong. You don't know why shit's going wrong, right? So pay attention to who is in your life when shit is going wrong and right. And I'm saying how to identify the witch in your family, because you may just fuck with your family, right? And you wondering why you get around your cousin, or you get around, you know what I'm saying, your brother, your sister, etc., and shit start going wrong. One, it could be because you got a blessing, a breakthrough on the way. and they're not supposed to reap the benefits of that. And the most I know, if they give you this blessing, if you receive this blessing and you're around these people, you're gonna be sharing it with them, and they not deserving or worthy of this shit, right? And two, it could be because these people is putting witchcraft on you. Every time you get around your people, shit start going wrong, they could be putting witchcraft on you, right? And they'll try to do the same. You have to pay attention to the patterns. If you're good, everything is good, and then the argument happens, and once that argument happens, after that argument, after you finish that argument, etc., you're vibrating low, and then shit start going wrong after that. It could be immediately after that, right? Because you got to understand, the witchcraft doesn't work unless you giving them your energy, right? So you get into an argument, you yelling, you cussing, you giving all your energy, you vibrating low, right? And then you step outside into the world, right? Now you're susceptible to the attacks. Something could be sent your way, or some witchcraft could be put over you, and then now shit just going wrong. You getting into it with strangers, you know what I'm saying? You fighting strangers, having shootouts, etc. Anything, right? Anything. These scenarios are happening. You have to pay attention to what's going on before that. If you notice a pattern, every time you get into it with your cousin or your sister, and then you go outside, you get into a fucking shootout, or you get arrested, right? Every time you get into an argument with one of these people, you go outside and some bad shit happen, or you got a flat tire now, you know what I'm saying? Or every time you get into it with your auntie or your mom, you end up fucking around and you lose your job now or some shit, right? That could be witchcraft, you know what I'm saying? And how the witchcraft works, they need your energy. So whoever you're giving, who's ever just around you, you're giving them your energy, right? Obviously. But if you get into an argument, etc., that's how they can use that energy, because they're making you vibrate low. They can do some shit. Now you're arguing, and now you vibrating low, and now you're susceptible to the witchcraft, right? And you already giving this person your energy, so they can try to manipulate your energy, right? So that's how you know what I'm saying, identify who's doing this shit, or who's in your family that's a witch, who's keeping up the most confusion, who's saying this but doing that, or you know what I'm saying, who's just keeping bullshit stirred up, keeping drama stirred up. That's the one that's doing witchcraft in your family. Who's coming around you and all of a sudden shit is going wrong. All of a sudden you ain't got no motion. You having these thoughts of suicide and depression and all this shit. You got to pay attention to who's coming into your life when this shit's happening, when you feeling a certain type of way. If you've been feeling good all week, all month, all year, and then you start talking to your cousin, and then all of a sudden you having these suicidal thoughts, you having thoughts of depression and all that shit, they wasn't popping up until you start having contact with this person. This person can be sending some shit your way, doing some witchcraft on you, right? Because all of a sudden you having these thoughts now when you got this person in your life. But before, when you was by yourself, or when you was just vibing with these people, right? Or when you was just by yourself, you wasn't having these thoughts. You was vibrating high, you know what I'm saying? So that's one way to identify it. If you alone and you just be by yourself most of the time, and then you include somebody in your life, and then shit start going wrong, it could be a number of things, right? But one, they could be doing witchcraft on you. Two, it could be somebody that's not supposed to be in your life because you got a blessing or a breakthrough on the way, and this person don't really fuck with you. And if you get this blessing or this breakthrough, etc., you're gonna be thinking this person fuck with you, and they gonna reap the benefits of that. Whether it's you smoking a blunt with a motherfucker that don't fuck with you, taking a motherfucker out to eat, etc., anything. They don't need to reap none of the benefits because they don't really fuck with you like that, and you don't know that. So that could be why shit's going wrong too, or they could be doing witchcraft on you, right? So it's just something to be aware of. When stuff start going wrong in your life, you got to pay attention to who's around you. Pay attention to that shit. Don't just be like, oh, it's a coincidence that everything is going good, now such and such popped up now. Nigga losing motion. This is going wrong, that's going wrong, etc. You got to pay attention to that. Yeah, you got to pay attention to that shit. So I ain't gonna make this video too much longer. Just want to talk to y'all real quick about the witchcraft shit, because you may not even know what's going on. You may just be going through a lot of bullshit in your life, you know, and you just think it's a coincidence. But once you get away from certain people, your life starts prospering. You start prospering. You start advancing. You start seeing progress. And then you get around certain people and shit start going wrong. You got to pay attention to that. All right? If you're doing the same thing, you're putting out the same energy, why is shit going wrong now? These people could be doing witchcraft on you. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? It could be your own family doing some witchcraft on you. They're not going to tell you. You got a witch in your family, she's not going to tell you, yeah, I'm a witch. I've been manipulating energy, causing confusion, sending shit your way since you were a child. You could be a sacrifice, anything. You don't know this shit. You don't. We just know we was babies and we got our parents and we just trying to, you know, figure this shit out on this planet, right? But you got to question shit. You got to pay attention too. If everything is going good in your life, and then you let Joe move into your spot, you let me sleep on your couch and shit, right? And then all of a sudden you wake up the next day after you let me spend the night sleep on your couch, right? You wake up, you got a fucking flat on your way to work. You like, damn, you just brush it off. You like, it's all good, you know? I probably just ran over some shit, right? You get to work, right? You fuck around and get to work late because of the flat. You like, you know, it's all good. I'm telling my boss it was a little accident. Your boss is like, it's all good. You know, I ain't tripping because you always on time. You never do no shit like this. So it's no big deal, right? You're not really tripping about it, right? Because you're not paying no attention. You're not thinking that Joe got some fucked up energy or, you know, he doing some witchcraft on me because, you know, he mad about some shit I told him 5 years ago and that shit really hurt him. And he, you know, I apologize, but he's still mad about this shit, right? So that could be a reason why Joe about to do some witchcraft on you right now. So you get a flat tire, you on your way to work, you get to work late, right? Your boss not tripping though, right? You on your way home, you fuck around and run out of gas. You know what I'm saying? You like, damn, maybe I just didn't see the gas light, yada, yada, right? But this shit, all this little shit never happens to you. It's just like you outside of yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? You're not paying no attention to this shit. You fuck around and just bad shit just start happening. You know what I'm saying? You fuck around and go home and the fucking power's off or some shit, or you fuck around and go home and now you forgot where you placed your shit. You misplaced some shit, right? Anything. You know, just bad shit start happening. You're not paying no attention. You're not thinking it's because, oh, I just let this person into my life. And this person can be possibly doing, well, you have to pay attention to that shit. Person could be possibly doing witchcraft on you, etc., trying to put some shit over you. You have to pay attention to that shit, right? If you're doing good, everything's going good in your life. You know, you got a certain energy, a certain frequency. Everything is going good, right? You start communicating with certain people, and then shit start going left. Start losing motion. Start losing customers, right? And it's only when you start communicating with these people, because you feel like once you start doing good, right, you want to go back around your family and be like, yeah, look at my accomplishments. Look what I got. You know what I'm saying? Look what I did. Look what I accomplished, right? Right? Because you feel like when you was around them for your life or for the past time you was around them, you wasn't doing shit. You want to just show them, you want to make them proud, right? But not even knowing, they could be the reason why you wasn't getting shit accomplished, because they could have been doing witchcraft on you your whole life. And then when you get away from them, you start accomplishing shit, right? But you're not aware of this shit, so you go back around your family and try to show them those accomplishments. And then they slowly start leaving because they was the reason why you wasn't accomplishing shit in the first place. They was the reason why you wasn't having kids, all the shit in the first place. They was the reason why you couldn't keep a steady job in the first place, right? So you go around them, showing them your accomplishments, they get to doing some witchcraft on you, now shit's going wrong. You may have to just stay away from your whole fucking family, right? Because witchcraft could be them even just thinking some negative shit, some hater shit over you. Like you say, I want to get this job, get 2 jobs, and they thinking like, and they really feel like that too. So check. And they'll really feel like that too. So them speaking that shit over you, and the phone just, you know what I'm saying, the phone got kind of hot, right? So, but they'll really feel like that too, right? And I'm about to end this video soon too. I just wanted to talk to y'all about this a little bit. I'm gonna make more videos on this as more of the downloads come to me about this shit, right? Or as I think about it more. But they'll be speaking some shit over you, and fuck around and try to speak some shit over you, so that shit really happen, right? You tell them, motherfucker, oh, I want to do this and do that, and they say, oh, this nigga ain't gonna do that shit, this and that. That's speaking that shit over you, trying to manifest that over you, right? So it's just something to be aware of, right? Pay attention to who's in your life when shit's going good, and who's in your life when you might just be by yourself when shit's going good, right? And then you start including people in your program and shit just start going left, right? Or you start trying to show certain family members like, yeah, I'm doing this and that now, and shit start going wrong, right? If you start stepping away from people and shit start going good, continue to step away from those people. Don't try to go back and be like, yeah, look at my accomplishment, and look at this, look what I'm doing now, because they could be the reason why shit was going wrong in the first place, right? And also, if you start leaving certain people alone, and they try to re-enter your life, but you know every time you enter my life, it's some bullshit, and it's a family member, they could be possibly doing witchcraft on you too. Like, if every time I try to be friends with you or rekindle our relationship, we end up fucking arguing, right? And then every time we argue, I go outside and I get in a fucking car accident because I'm mad and I'm worked up, right? That motherfucker that you arguing with, if that's me or whoever I just said right now, could be the person that's doing witchcraft on you, right? If every time, and if I start distancing myself from you, distancing, if I if I start getting away from you, you know what I'm saying? If I start distancing, I can't even fucking say that word. If I start getting away from you, if I start creating space between us, right? Stop interacting with you, and shit start going right. Shit start going good. And then you start trying to force me to come back around, try to force me to start giving you my energy pretty much. You start fucking around and saying, oh, I'm sick. Or a person starts saying, oh, I'm sick, you know? I ain't gonna be here too much longer, I'm sick, you know? So you can get the feeling like, damn, let me get back in this person's life. You get back in the person's life, or you let the person back in your life, and then shit start going wrong. And then after shit start going wrong, you find out this motherfucker ain't even sick, right? They just trying to manipulate you. Who's doing the manipulating in your family? Who's trying to manipulate you? Who's telling you some shit and then leaving you hanging on purpose multiple times, right? Who's getting you worked up, right? This the person that's doing witchcraft on you, right? They gotta have some energy. They gotta have your energy. They gotta have your energy. Who's coming around and shit's going wrong? If everything is going good in your life and I come around and shit start going wrong, you have to pay attention to that shit. You can't be like, oh, no, this and that. You know, especially if I come around and then we start arguing and shit, you know, and then shit start happening after that, you have to pay attention to that. Because I could be doing some witchcraft on you. I ain't gonna make this video too much longer. I hope all y'all vibrating at a high frequency. Just pay attention to who's, like I told y'all before, who's coming around you when shit's going wrong, when shit's going right. You know, who's doing all the energy manipulating in your family, and what's gonna keep up a lot of energy, a lot of confusion. Who's stirring up all the confusion in your family? That's the person that's doing the witchcraft. That's the person that's probably a witch. You wonder why you tell such and such something, and you tell them not to tell nobody, and then they tell somebody else, and all of a sudden everybody fucking know, but you only told this one person, and they acting like they didn't say nothing. And somebody else knowing what you just told them, that causes a bunch of confusion. That's gonna cause a lot of energy. You know what I'm saying? With that energy, witchcraft could happen. You can use that energy, manipulate that energy, all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So just pay attention to who's doing this shit, who's causing the confusion, and when they're causing this shit, right? And I ain't gonna make this video too much longer. I'll probably touch up on this a little later. I might make a part 2 to this, but I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. And I hope all y'all vibrating at a high frequency, man. Not letting no negative energy stop y'all positive energy. And I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.